So today's video, as the title states, is going to be a dogmatic witness conversation, comments here on YouTube. So this should be public still. Is it?
I think so, unless he deleted it.
But we're going to read through it, and you guys can decide for yourself.
What's funny, and we get a lot of comments, obviously, from active witnesses. And there are individuals who will start off on that dogmatic tone. So it's not like we do this with every conversation we have. One that pops into my mind, for instance, was this older gentleman, obviously, who says, I've been in this organization for, 50 years, 60 years, whatever it was, and 40 years. I don't even remember it, but it was a long time. But he had said, talk to me for 15 minutes and you'll be singing a different tune. It's like, all right, I'll take you up on that. And give him a little bit of the information through comments, and he's the one who's singing the different tune. Yeah, that ain't right. And there's a lot of things that are going on in this organization. So a lot of times they may even start out trying to defend witnesses, but then even with that long experience, they go, yeah, I've experienced that garbage too. So that's not what we're talking about. When those are not the ones we necessarily air and bring out as being totally dogmatic. But this one, as you'll go through, you'll kind of see, even if they start out that way, a lot of times they transition over to being more reasonable. But every once in a while, you get these individuals like this, and it's like, what are you doing? Do you really think that draws someone back? It's their own cognitive dissonance to where they just want to continue to push that you're wrong, and it just has to be it. It has to be it. Because the organization can't be wrong. So, and you'll kind of see that through this conversation. So again, we'll handle this just like we have with others in the past. Tiffany will read his comments, and I'll read our replies.
Yeah. So this was under the video Disfellowship for having a question. It was a Breakfast Soapbox 1, our very first Breakfast Soapbox. And he starts out by saying, what a lie. I was DF for asking a question, and that was in quotes. You were DF'd for breaking your baptism vow, which is saying yes to the question. Do you understand that your dedication and baptism identify you as one of Jehovah's Witnesses in association with God's Spirit-directed organization? You broke this vow, in capital letters, when you went against the organization. Is the organization perfect? No. But is that a reason to break your vow by going against the organization? Is a wife perfect when you marry her and promise to be faithfully married to her till death? A vow? No. When you break a vow made before God and the witnesses, there are consequences. Be honest and stop the lying.
So, our response. And this is a public comment from Harold Hahn, so I can say his name. Hello, Harold. Despite your accusation, we can assure you that having a question regarding one new understanding is why we were disfellowshipped. Perhaps some further questions on your part would be more beneficial than hurling baseless accusations. Revelation 12:10, Proverbs 18:13. To clarify, as discussed in one of our videos, at both of our baptism talks, a year apart, the brother giving the talk read from the outline, you are not dedicating yourself to a man, a group of men, an organization, or to a work. You are dedicating yourself to Jehovah. That is what our vow was. A vow we have not broken despite your baseless, uneducated assumptions. So our dedication was never to an organization. As to that point, we discussed this in our judicial committee as well. The baptismal question, do you understand that your dedication and baptism identify you as one of Jehovah's Witnesses in association with God's Spirit-directed organization, which now has been changed? As mentioned in the previous paragraph, this is not a vow to an organization, but a recognition that you are dedicated as a witness of Jehovah, as Isaiah 43:10 indicates, in association to a group of people who have also done the same. Association is not a vow. You are very incorrect. And 99% of active witnesses would agree with me. Your reasoning would make true apostates correct in saying JWs are a cult following men. Something we would have never agreed to. Furthermore, we never went against the organization. We had a simple question which we never got to fully ask. And as soon as the basis of the question was drawn out, they started the beatings of us. Their brother and sister. Matthew 24:48 through 49. We understand that it is difficult to believe that God's organization could be guilty of such egregious acts. But look at the Bible, Harold. That is exactly what 90% of the Bible is about. From most of the prophets right down to Jesus himself. Finally, as to your illustration of a wife, ask yourself, would Jesus consider it lawful to divorce his wife just because she had a question on something he promoted as true, but that he couldn't prove? Matthew 19:3 through 9. Under such direction from Jesus, even questioning the husband's authority was not a reason for divorce, something we never did. We were divorced by them for having a question. We know of another couple who were just disfellowshipped for having a question about sex abuse in the congregation. Her sister was sexually abused in the congregation. But it's a good side point to remember that the organization is not the husband of true witnesses of Jehovah. For perhaps you will even recall that the organization used to be incorrectly called Mother. So a vow to the organization or anything as a husband would be spiritual adultery. For true followers of Jehovah belong to Jehovah. Isaiah 54:5, Jeremiah 3:14, and Jeremiah 7:4. So, by your own illustration, the organization is guilty of exactly what you have just accused us of. Thank you for your validation. Matthew 7:1 through 5, and 12:37.
I am not interested in reading or listening to the lies of an apostate ex-witness, and I definitely do not have the time to answer all the false claims you have made. My time is much better spent reading and meditating on Jehovah's Word, taking on the yoke of the Christ, field service, attending the 5 weekly meetings, I think he meant, preparing for meetings, participating in the meetings, and doing my assignments. All of the uplifting things you have given up because of your inability to humble yourself and return like the prodigal son. Self-righteous pride benefits no one. It is never too late to return to Jehovah's fold like many in the past have. Humble yourself and return to the loving organization of Jehovah's Witnesses. For the above reasons, I will not write you again. I hope you will understand and respect my decision. Goodbye.
The fact you even watched this video shows we are not lying. If this is such a loving organization, that won't disfellowship people for questions. Watch our next video that comes out. It will be apparently clear that questions are not allowed. We speak to many active witnesses who support this truth. Good day. And go ahead and read tomorrow's Watchtower to see how hypocritical it is about questions. They don't put out these articles for nothing. They know full well and good how elders are like the Pharisees. Good day.
The truth be told, DFing is a process, and it would require much more than a single question.
Wait a minute. Didn't he just say that he wasn't going to write me again?
Yeah, he did. But he's writing again.
Yes mean yes?
Yeah.
What is in excess of this is from who?
Pretty much the wicked one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it starts again. The truth be told, DFing is a process that would require much more than a single question from a brother or sister to be disfellowshipped. You can also appeal your being disfellowshipped. If you persist with a rebellious spirit against those in authority, you will be put out, DF, just like a boss will dismiss a worker who keeps on questioning his directives. I looked at the video to see and hear what you had to say. I was shocked to hear the amount of false accusations being made against the elders by someone who claims they were a JW. All witnesses are trained to answer questions in a meek and mild way, so we do not take offense like the Pharisees did when questioned. How many different people are writing me?
We are driving back from work right now, so I can't talk long. I'll write you later. But for starters, see our video where the circuit overseer yells at me and my crying wife, "Your faith is garbage and needs to be torn down." Because that's certainly not a trained, humble response of mildness. Okay, we're back home now, Harold. Just as a statement to keep you from continuing your fall of the erroneous course of Job's companions. First, despite your baseless accusations, Revelation 12:10, just as an FYI, not that we owe you any explanation, Romans 14:4, we continue all the things we are scripturally required to do. Yes, including our ministry. Second, the prodigal son left. He was not executed. Disfellowshipping, cut off, is akin to an Israelite execution of old. And no knowledgeable witness would deny that. See the Insight book. Third, loving is what one does, not what one says they do. James 2:16. Fourth, please stop lying. Your statement that you said, quote, "you would not write again," is against the scriptures in the first place. James 4:12-15. And you're not following through with that illustrates the wrong in that regard. Matthew 5:37, James 5:12. Fifth, you are correct. DFing is a process easily manipulated when everything is secret and power holds all the cards. 1 Kings 21:4-13. In such a scenario, they headhunted us searching for trivial statements to use against us in a judicial committee. The witnesses were an elder's wife, an elder's fleshly sister, and a brother an elder moved into the congregation so he could get his privileges back after he lost them. Sixth, you compared boss to a worker? Please, Harold, listen to yourself. Is that what Jesus said? Luke 22:24-26, Matthew 20:26, Mark 10:43. I could go on and on, Harold. Seventh, we made no false accusations, and I dare you to try to point out even one. Eighth, the statement that the CO yelled at my crying wife and I illustrates well that mildness was in no way the hallmark of our DFing. And if you want to call us liars, know Jehovah sees you. Hebrews 4:13. Ninth, looking at the thread, as far as I am aware, it is only my wife and I that are writing to you under the username unassignedvlog. If you are uncertain about that, you may contact us directly at unassignedvlog@gmail.com. 10th, if your posts are any indication, you seem very naive about the injustices that are happening in this organization, as has been the case in all the Bible when it comes to Jehovah's organization. Micah 7:2. We understand it is difficult to believe if it hasn't happened to you, but you might want to be careful before Jehovah, before those who happened to be in the same situation as the prophets and Jesus himself. As one knowledgeable sister who is the coordinator's wife and has been a witness for over 50 years said to us when we told her we were speaking with the elders, quote, "What are you talking to them for? They don't care about you. That's not what they're there for. They will bait you." End quote. She was right.
I am only hearing your side of the matter. Yes, there can be heated words between brothers. Paul and Barnabas could testify to this at Acts 15:39. You are a very passionate debater, which is very clearly seen in what you write. It takes two or more people to have an argument. Heated words will be said on both sides. I do not know what you said to trigger the outburst from the brother. As I said before, I only have your side of the argument, and that is not enough to arrive at the truth. In my experience, many ex-witnesses do not speak the truth concerning why they are DF'd, and they do this especially on social media. You are one of these ex-witnesses. If I have given you the impression that witnesses never argue, I humbly apologize. I will not accept only your side of the matter as being the whole truth and nothing but the truth. There is no point in wasting time in uselessly debating the matter of your DFing, for I cannot arrive at the truth with only your side of the matter.
Well, a little bit of reasonableness there, but he continues on another post.
A dedication is a commitment. A vow is promise. Use a dictionary if you do not understand. When you were baptized, you made two dedications. The first is a dedication to Jehovah and to do his will, and the second is a dedication which identifies you as a Jehovah's Witness, belonging to a spirit-led organization. You answered yes to both these dedications. When you try to twist and turn to get out of your dedication promise or vow when your yes does not mean yes and your word means nothing, you tried to do this before a judicial committee. Wow. On this kind of behavior alone, you gave them no option but to DF you. That was such an accusational statement.
Yeah, we're going to make a phone call. We'll figure that out right now. Do we have Bethel's number? Yeah, let's dial him up. 845-744-6000. That's what Google says. Let's see.
Good afternoon, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Hello. I'm sitting here with my wife, and we're talking to some witnesses, and we gotten two different opinions as far as the baptismal questions are two different, and we just want to clarify which it is.
Okay, one moment, please. And what state are you calling from, please?
Midwest.
Okay, one moment, please.
Hello, may I help you?
Hello, I'm sitting here with my wife, and I just have a question real quick. We have in our studies, we kind of learned that when you do a dedication, it's your dedication is simply to Jehovah. And on somebody else we were talking to that's a witness said that no, you have two dedications, that you answer two questions. One being you dedicate your life to Jehovah, the other one saying you're dedicating it to the organization. Is that, as far as I understand, what we learned, it's only the first. So I'm getting a kind of two mixed opinions here.
Yeah, maybe they're using, maybe it's a matter of wording, you know. You do dedicate your life to Jehovah.
And not to an organization, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the second question is, what is the second question? It's like you're now one of Jehovah's Witnesses or in his organization or something like that, but it's not like now you've dedicated yourself to an organization.
Right. And that makes more sense. And I think when I was looking at it, the questions, as far as I understand, it had something to do with being in an association with others who have dedicated their life to Jehovah as well.
Yeah, it's something like that. I don't have the exact wording right in front of me, but, you know, the first one is you've dedicated your life to Jehovah, and the second one you're now associated with Jehovah's organization or something.
Right. So that individual who said that you're dedicating your life to an organization is just off base.
Well, they used the wrong words.
Right. Yeah. But if they adamantly assert that, we can pretty much gauge that that's not correct.
You can ask one of the elders to, show you the exact wording in the baptism talk.
Right. Right. Okay, great. Thank you. You've cleared that up.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Take care.
Well, I think that pretty much answered that.
That was right to the New York branch.
Sorry, Harold. You don't dedicate your life to an organization.
Yep.
Let's continue.
Okay.
Where's it at there?
Isn't that funny? Because that's not what they said in our judicial committee.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So now you're an associate.
Yeah. Association. Okay, so back to my response to him after he accuses us of twisting our dedication.
Yeah, then that's a good point, because here you get off the phone with the branch, and he's saying, no, you dedicate yourself to Jehovah, and then you like the wording. Well, you heard the conversation, but even in our judicial meeting.
But the wording is in association with.
Yeah, it wasn't our judicial. It was our appeal, because the appeal chairman, you said.
Yeah.
You said, no, the baptism questions are, the second one is, you are an association with God's Spirit-directed organization. And then the chairman says, so you're an associate now. Like each person is an associate. Like you're some sort of a shareholder.
That's part of the mind manipulation game. So who's twisting what? The brother we just talked to on the phone at Bethel, and he was like, the wording's not really no big deal. It is a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
It's a monstrous deal. Because we're pretty much, that's one of the things we're disfellowship for, is whether or not you're dedicating yourself to this organization or not. It's monstrous.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. Just, sign your life away to us. We own you once you're baptized. And it doesn't matter, because now that you're baptized in that sense, now we get to keep your family and your friends and your social life, your network of people, your support, everything. It's held hostage from you if you cross us in any way.
When it's used for evil ends.
Yeah, exactly.
But going back to that point, you're accusing us of twisting things. And the reality is that that's what they were doing that judicial committee meeting. They were trying to turn it into a dedication to this organization like good old Harold here. But that's not what they put out at face value. That's not the reality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's not scripturally what we did either. So, again, back to our response to him for saying that we were the ones who were twisting our dedication.
Mm-hmm. So this is you.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing, but your unchristian patronization is uncalled for. Moreover, you are absolutely incorrect. There is only one dedication in the questions. As we say on several of our videos, Harold, the brothers who gave both mine and my wife's baptism talk 1 year apart both said, you are not dedicating yourself to a man, a group of men, an organization, or a work. You are dedicating your life to Jehovah God himself. End quote. That statement from the outline makes it absolutely clear your vow, defined as dedication, is not to an organization. See the 1966 Watchtower, October 1st, pages 603 and 604, where that statement originates. Furthermore, before you accuse us of lying and or breaking a vow to what we said yes to, you might want to quote the second question correctly, which you are not doing. The question reads, and I will quote directly and correctly from the time we were baptized. Quote, "Do you understand that your dedication and baptism identify you as one of Jehovah's Witnesses in association with God's Spirit-directed organization?" End quote. This question begins by referring back to the dedication you made in the first question, which is, quote, "On the basis of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, have you repented of your sins and dedicated yourself to Jehovah to do His will?" End quote. Next, the second question asks, if you understand that the first question you answered yes to identifies you as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. No studious person coming to baptism at this point thinks this is referring to a religion, as a serious Bible student knows the term Jehovah's Witness is not a noun of some religion, but is an adjective adverb describing the person who gives a witness about Jehovah, which is taken from Isaiah 43:10. In no way does a serious Bible student think Isaiah 43:10 refers to a dedication to a modern-day religion, especially after the previous statement made in that talk. Next, the second question goes into asking if you understand your dedication made to Jehovah God, in question 1, puts you in association with God's Spirit-directed organization, which is now revised to omit Spirit-directed. In no way does the term association with presume that a person is dedicating their life to the one they have association with, or that they belong to them, as you said. So if there is any twisting and turning so as to manipulate, as I have clearly shown here, it certainly is not us. So our yes mean yes is still yes in our dedication, not to an organization, but to Jehovah God. It is still intact, and we still carry on the same activities and beliefs entailed in that dedication. So your accusations are false and off base, and are akin to the Pharisees toward Jesus or Israel of old toward the prophets. John 15:20.
Wow.
He asked for it. I send another message to him, a short one. In your experience in this legalistic system, is it the one who comes forward out of their own volition to seek justice that is trying to hide guilt? Or is it the one who refuses to come forward and pleads the fifth? There can be no supposed claim of confidentiality, as it is our case to request a trial in the gate of the city in front of everyone, since the only trial given is a Pharisaic tribunal held in secret, just as it was done with Jesus. 1 Corinthians 4:3.
He wrote back again. Who are Jehovah's Witnesses if not part of an organization? If Jehovah's Witnesses are not part of an organization, then why do they have kingdom halls? branch offices, head offices, elders, and all of the other things that come together to form an organization.
Stop. We've been trying to read over any errors on both of our parts,
Yeah.
or misspelling, but this one's just funny. Why do they have kingdom balls?
I'm trying not to just read it accurately, but read what it says. I know what
We're trying to get to the
kingdom
meeting
balls.
and ignore the typos, but that was pretty funny. Kingdom balls. I wonder if we can use that one. Kingdom balls.
Oh, and our flipmas. That'll be good. We'll see. Anyway, continuing.
Deck the kingdom balls with boughs of falsehood. Fa la 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 la.
Stay focused. Anyway, back to the text, or back to the comment. If there is one dedication, then why did you say yes twice to two separate dedications? Is The Watchtower of 1966 a book or magazine? Over 600 pages, that would make it a book. The Watchtower is a monthly magazine, not a book. The Organized to Do Jehovah's Will book that I have and is available online at jw.org, and the older edition, a green hardcover book, both have the two dedication questions, which are asked at a baptism. When you question my Jehovah Witness faith and my organization on social media, I can and will question you. When you say what is not true, you are a liar. When you say that you were DF for asking only one question, that is not the truth. That question would only have been the beginning of the meetings that you had with the elders and the circuit overseer. I know for this so-called naive brother has been through a series of these meetings before. I was disciplined twice. I know brothers who have been disfellowshipped for years and have returned. I am the only witness in my family, and I've had to endure much shunning from members of my own family.
I am the only witness in my family, and I have had to endure much shunning from members of my own family.
So your worldly family is shunning you?
Or is it,
What?
I'm not the only witness in my family?
Maybe.
It could be either way. I got no idea.
Maybe
I don't
he
know.
just left out the number.
I've got no idea if it's relevant even, but continue.
You have only been DF for a short time, and yet you and others like you complain so much. I could do like you and relate the many more things I and many like me have endured for being a JW, but social media is not the place for such things to be discussed.
Tell that to the prophets who sat in the city gate and proclaimed all those things against Israel. Tell that to Jesus, who went into the public square, the social media of his day, and flipped over tables to tell them how unrighteous they were being. Tell that to Amos. Tell that to Ezekiel, who laid in the courtyard. And it's just ridiculous.
I just want to say, I'm just confused on, then why are you even on social media, on YouTube, and who knows where else, leaving comments like this? I mean, technically, you're not even supposed to be watching channels like ours.
If you ask me, it's because of what he said in the last statement. I could do like you and relate the many more things I and many like me have endured for being a JW. That just acknowledges the massive abuses that are happening.
Yeah.
But they've got you so brainwashed to be quiet, even though there's next to nothing in the scriptures except for, man, have your say on your bed and be quiet. That's the only one scripture. One scripture they'll pull out of it. And in a certain instance where you're trying to wait to get resolved, that's absolutely true. But to take that one verse and ignore what the entire Bible is about, all the prophets that come forward, the woman who goes and pleads with the judge for justice, and the statement that immediately follows that says, well, the judge is paying attention, he's going to come back and pay the payment speedily. You're just ignoring the entire Bible for a couple of lines taken out of the scriptures to propagate to you. You keep your mouth shut, and we'll do exactly whatever we feel like we're going to do to you.
Mm-hmm. It gives them a cover. And I understand that we do have some active witnesses that are watching our channel and watching many channels, and they choose to be silent subscribers because they've got a lot to risk if they're found out. But this guy, I mean, we're well into the conversation here. He's not worried about his risk, apparently.
That he said he wasn't going to do in the first place. And here he's the one who contacted us. We didn't contact him. He could have his own opinion and go on his own way, but he doesn't do that. He doesn't sit in the shadows. He wants to come forward and try to discredit us. Well, then come on, bring it forward. Let's do this. And
not only discredit us, but I'm only getting your side of the story. And, this is not the same caliber as somebody who has a sex abuse charge, but to tell somebody who has a sex abuse situation in the organization to say, well, I'm only getting your side of the story, that's not fair. That's not fair. I'm presenting facts. I'm presenting my story. At least believe me.
We're pleading for justice, and we've done it to them. Matter of fact, one of the last statements I said in our appeal letter is that, do I have to go to the world? I told them that. I'm looking for justice from you guys. Do I just have to go to the world for that?
Yeah. And I just want to clarify that our injustice is in no way, like I said, the same degree as somebody who's suffered a sex abuse situation in the organization. That is ridiculous. But I'm just saying that they need to be believed. People need to be believed.
And within their own statements, you'll be able to prove whether or not what they're saying is true. That's what happens in court all the time. Mm-hmm. Does what the person said in the first place measure up to what they said in the end? Mm-hmm. Does it all end up being harmonious? It's true, more information may come out as the conversation goes along, but is it still harmonious? Is it within itself, those statements?
Yeah.
And ours is.
Yeah. So he goes on to say, at the time of writing, I was not home to check this 1966 Watchtower October 1st article, so my comments on the amount of pages is incorrect. I do apologize for this comment. What is very strange is that you needed to go back over 53 years ago to find this statement that is obviously outdated by the second dedication question. Perhaps you should ask the elders when they added this second dedication to the JW organization. But we don't have to go to the elders because we just called the branch, and just right now you got the answer to that.
That you're not dedicating yourself to an organization.
So he continues, the fact is that you deny dedicating yourself to the JW Spirit-led organization. You make this denial even though in order to become a baptized Jehovah's Witness, you must make a dedication to this organization. You would not have become a JW if you refused to dedicate yourself to this organization. You are making your defense by trying to twist words and on something written over 50 years ago. Just by the youthful looks of you and your wife, I doubt you were baptized some 50 or so years ago when it was only necessary to make a dedication to Jehovah. Once you made your dedication to the second question by saying yes, you confirm that you have agreed to be led by the JW's organization. By denying this before a judicial committee, you condemn yourself not to death, like what happened in the Dark Ages under the Inquisition, but you are lovingly disciplined in the form of being disfellowshipped. Loving discipline?
For asking a question?
The question here is why lie by saying you did not dedicate yourself to the JW organization? Sorry for the spelling error in this post. My tablet has not comp program to correct spelling errors.
We respond. Hello, Harold. Spelling is not a problem for comprehension of the point, so no problems here. As long as grammar and arrangement of the words are good enough to get the point. As such, Harold, give us a break. We referenced that 1966 article to show the truth in where that statement comes from. If you are a witness at all, you know full well the organization taps back into its archives quite often for statements. Here it is, cut and pasted from a 1970 article as well. Watchtower 70, 7-1, page 404, paragraph 13, quote, Christians must appreciate these facts. Their dedication is not to an organization nor to a work, end quote. And that's what was said at both of our baptisms, no matter the year. We would have never dedicated ourselves to an organization. Such idolatry. You are so off base, and 99% of witnesses would agree with us. I have already went through the second question in detail, showing that it is in no way a dedication to the organization, but refers to a person's association with the organization. Perhaps you should read it if you did not comprehend it. You need to see the new questions, Harold. As I also said previously, perhaps you missed it, but the second question no longer contains the phrase Spirit-directed. In no way does the second question contain the phrase that I agree to be, as you say, led by JW's organization. A contract can't be changed to other words after the said yes. We said yes only to the words that were read. Stop twisting the second question with words it does not say. Finally, disfellowshipping is linked to Israelite cutting off and is akin to execution. I have talked to elders about this and they absolutely agreed. To make that point in JW theology, let's say someone gets disfellowshipped on Wednesday and Armageddon comes Friday. Are they destroyed? According to literature, yes. Disfellowshipping is execution and is righteous for scriptural wrong. Numbers 25:1, 8, 1 Corinthians 9, 5, and 13. But it is wicked when done unrighteously. 1 Kings 21:10. Remember, in most lands, Jehovah took the power of religion to kill. Revelation 18:4. So now, all any would-be faithful slave can do is beat their fellow slaves. Matthew 24:48 through 51.
So he replies, if my memory is correct, you state that dedicating yourself to an organization is idolatry. That would be true if you worship or put first anyone or anything other than Jehovah. All Jehovah's Witnesses in their baptism dedication put Jehovah and his will first, the first dedication, not the organization which comes in the second dedication. All practicing witnesses would agree to this. They wouldn't.
Except for the guy at the branch, apparently.
You, an ex-witness speaking on behalf of witnesses, is a joke. Thank you.
I didn't. We just called the branch, dude. Just called the branch.
As to the claim of witnesses belonging to a cult, if they make a second dedication to an organization, this is also incorrect if they put Jehovah's worship and will first in their lives. You need accurate understanding before using words to incorrectly describe situations.
And I get what he's saying here as far as a dedication, and that's true. I'm dedicated to my wife, and my wife's dedicated to me. But we don't put that above Jehovah. There's nothing wrong with that, except for it's not true. I never dedicated myself to this organization. And to say I will dedicate my life to this organization over Jehovah would and is idolatry. And that's what they're requiring. They require that they're from Jehovah, and so we dedicate them. This is the exact same thing the prophets went through, the exact same thing that Jesus went through with the Pharisees. Listen, this organization has been here for 500 years, for 1,000 years, for whatever. We've been here. We are God's organization. Therefore, we automatically do the right thing, so you need to go along with whatever we say, as opposed to what the scriptures say or whatever God says. You should just go along with us. That's idolatry. Idolatry is obedience. Idolatry is anything you're obedient to over the top of Jehovah. Go back to the Genesis situation. What was the idolatry of Satan? Obedience. They didn't obey Jehovah. They ate of the fruit which Satan said they could eat of. That means that we're obedient to Satan. That made it idolatry. It's no different here. Since I'm the head of household, if I say that, honey, we don't have any bread and we don't have any money, go steal some bread, her dedication to me, if she listened to me over Jehovah and went and stole the bread, that would be idolatry. So that part is absolutely true, that you can have a dedication to someone or something else as a secondary dedication. Except for the fact that, as we just got off the phone with the branch, you are not dedicating to this organization. And he wants to say that I'm twisting words with association. I'm sorry, but given what the branch representatives say, our judicial committee, our appeal meeting, is the guy who is twisting the meaning of the dedication and what association means.
Or maybe it's just an interesting thing to say. It kind of goes into our whole point of they do that switcheroo on you, because they'll tell somebody who's studying the Bible, they're not baptized, I'm saying they're just studying, yeah, you dedicate yourself to Jehovah, but like I said, once you're in, boy, that's different. All of a sudden it's different.
And then to get this kind of a poo-poo idea from the branch, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's kind of just whatever the wording is. No, the wording is everything. That's where you're hung up to your entire dedication. And the wording flat out says association with, not dedication to. My response to him: stop this nonsense, Harold. We have already proven there is no such verbiage as a second dedication. The second question says nothing about a dedication to an organization. Stop ignoring that truth. If you do, it only proves you are so brainwashed that you are incapable of seeing past your own propaganda. Moreover, we speak to active witnesses every day who love the real truths you and I both believe, but they are tired of the abuse of this organization. The fact that they are even afraid to speak out is a testament to this dictatorial abuse. To whitewash the wrongs they commit is to go along with them. Ephesians 5:11, 2 John 11. And that's exactly what he stated. I could go on about all the things that we had to endure. Well, there you go. You're proving it.
Mm-hmm. Then he goes on. You have proved nothing, for I was at a baptism just recently in which there was a second dedication to the Jehovah Witness organization made by 2 women and 1 man who are sisters and brothers in my congregation. It is not me who writes rubbish, it is you.
I reply back, then what was the question? Verbatim, please.
I have nothing more to say, for this conversation is becoming too abusive, and I do not want to continue going down this road. It is time to block you to stop things from going any further. That's always the way it happens. You know that?
Get them into the corner, and then
all you did was ask.
delete.
All you did was ask for the question at that baptism talk verbatim. Oh no, this is becoming too abusive. How is it becoming abusive? You're the one that's hurling accusations.
My last reply. Oh, that's funny, Harold. We ask a simple question for you to state the actual second baptismal question so you can see how you are manipulating it. And that's abusive? Mm-hmm. Classic elder-like gaslighting. Once you get backed into a corner, you start calling others what you yourself are doing. To bring back your memory, you logged on to our video in direct disobedience of the organization you claim to be dedicated to. You reached out to contact us first. We did not reach out to contact you first. And you made a false claim you can no longer defend. John 8:48, Matthew 12:28-29, Acts 19:16. Jehovah and his son see these truths. Hebrews 4:13. And we got the branch rep on the phone to prove it.
Mm-hmm. So it's just amazing how these people will manipulate and totally flip the reasoning on you, which we're going to talk about here. So we wish you a Merry Flipmas.
We wish you a Merry Flipmas.
We wish you a Merry Flipmas. What should be the next line?
And a happy dark beer.
Is there McAllen's in that?
Would that make it FDS approved?
We could call the branch and ask them.
Great idea.